women are not making it to the top.
When women have their voices heard, they transform the entire world.
If women were presidents all over the world would be a safer place.
Where do we want it?
It would be a more peaceful place. It would be a place of equality.
We will not be quiet.
The world would be a better world.
Two years after Hillary Clinton failed to shatter the highest, hardest glass ceiling, Americans elected a record number of women to office in 2018.
Women like me aren't supposed to run for office.
But women make up only 24% of all national parliaments, and only 6.3% of the total number of international leaders. Men still rule the world.
It matters for women to be fully represented in the leadership of the world.
Ellen Johnson Sirleaf would know. She was elected Africa's first female president in 2005 and put Liberia back on its feet after 14 years of brutal civil war. It was a huge grassroots action led by Liberian women that paved Mrs. Sirleaf's way to power.
Women felt male domination in our country had been there for too long, and it was time for change. They voted, and they voted en masse.
80% of women at the polls voted for Ma Ellen, as she's known.
My election will inspire women everywhere.
But today, only 12.3% of seats in the Liberian parliament are held by women.
Through collaborative effort, we have to break down the barriers, one by one.
And this is how Mrs. Sirleaf believes it could be done.
I always say that women bring to leadership a special sensitivity. We need to change the stereotype that women are weak.
I believe that this will be a government of change.
A woman who is able to negotiate, to compromise, to find alternatives is an example of strength. That's when you show that people are given the dignity and the rights that they deserve. One needs to look at constitutional change that includes affirmative action, such as quotas, even though you may phase them out over time, because women have been neglected over the whole history of nations. Now is the time for preferential treatment for them. The obstacles go beyond misogynistic handicaps. They're institutional. Institutions are still dominated by men. We must make our institutions all over the world, and particularly in Africa, stronger than the individual, so that the individual does not use discretion to dictate the participation of women.
In 2018, after 2 terms in office, Mrs. Sirleaf bucked the trend of African presidents for life and stood down for Liberia's first peaceful transfer of power since the 1940s.
I don't think, given the state of our country, that a man would have gone through the steps I did. Only a woman could have done it. One woman at the top can push harder, but unless you have enough women in the system to give the support, it can be a very difficult job. And I can use my own example. You're on a microscope all the time.
I don't want to shock anyone, I really don't, but the world is still run by men.
We must put women in all levels, right across society, no matter what area you look at. You see enough women participating, enough women being able to move up, enough women challenging the status quo. That's the equality that we search for, and it's taking a while to get it, but it's coming and no one can stop it. This is an irreversible road